Hey everyone, back again. Welcome back to another video review. I do apologize about the last video. It wasn't really that interesting, shall we say, but yeah, it was more of a kind of a rambling rant on something rather than nothing. Anyway, so this time we're going to be taking a look at the Transformers Prime continuity. Pretty much it's a series overview essentially. Overall, Transformers Prime was awesome. It was just that great. It was fantastic. Obviously, I reviewed the comic book back in September 2010, or the novel rather, the graphic novel, sorry. And of course, reviewed every single episode, including Predacons Rising. Season 1 was fantastic. It was awesome. Season 2 was interesting, funny, and awesome. And Season 3 was serious, funny, and awesome. And then Predacons Rising became emotional and very awesome at the same time. Anyway, so I'm going to be reviewing, talking about each character and what they could have done throughout the series. And then once that's done, I'm going to pretty much give you my opinion on it and then a final analysis / conclusion on it. So, we'll start off with the humans. We'll start off with Jack, Miko, and Raphael. These three were very interesting. They were funny, they were awesome, and they were pretty key at some points in the show. They were just that great. I just kind of wish they were in Predacons Rising though. That's just the only thing. Yes, they were mentioned, but I just wanted maybe just to see them. Anyways, Agent Fowler, William Fowler, he was so funny. I just loved him. He was just that good. He was just that awesome. The other humans, Vogel, who appeared in one episode in Season 2, I wish we could have maybe gotten a little bit more backstory on him, but we didn't. That's okay. He was pretty interesting. General Bryce, he was a very serious kind of guy, and again, I would like to see a little bit more about him backstory-wise. Vince. Vince is obviously the one that bullied Jack in Season 1 in a couple episodes. Honestly, I would have loved to see more of a serious tone in terms of the, trying to combat that. But other than that, it's not too serious. Sierra, obviously Sierra's the girl that Jack kind of had an interest in. I would have loved to see maybe more of a in-depth into that situation, more of a romantic, kind of scene, you know what I'm saying? June, obviously that's Jack's mom. She was interesting. She was pretty funny too. She was awesome. Though I kind of wished we kind of got to see Jack's father more in, maybe at least see him in Season 1, maybe via a flashback in Season 1 as mentioned. And Silas, well, Silas was very interesting. I mean, obviously part of the mech organization, all that sort of stuff. Though, the only problem is I have with Silas, well, it's not a problem, but the only thing I'd kind of like to, I would have loved to see is like what the Decepticons do with his remains, and obviously Breakdown's remains, because obviously Silas was using Breakdown's body to kind of fix himself and whatever. I would have loved to see what they could have done, but oh well. The Starscream clones, they appeared in one episode, and overall they were interesting. This is when Starscream was more on the neutral side of things. I wish they had different colors, because I mean, we've had, I think there were 3 instances of this in the show, and pretty much they were interesting. They were funny, and obviously, it was pretty funny what they did. The Terracons, obviously, that's pretty much, the Rock Lords, Cliff Jumpers remains, Skyquakes remains, the ones in Predacons Rising, you name it. You can name them all, you can list them all down. The Terracons were pretty interesting. They just were. They were interesting to see. Only problem is they didn't transform, which I would have loved to see, but oh well. And maybe more of a little backstory on the Terracons themselves. The Nemesis itself, pretty much the Decepticons ship. The episode where they pretty much, where the Nemesis pretty much came to life. I would have loved to see maybe a transformation of the Nemesis, but oh well. I mean, I would have loved to see it. Nemesis Prime, obviously, Nemesis Prime, of course, being the twin clone of Optimus Prime, who obviously this was before Optimus got upgraded in season 3. I would have loved. I would have loved to see what the military did to Nemesis Prime. We didn't see that, and also I also wanted to see maybe when Optimus got upgraded, maybe Nemesis Prime had an episode where he got upgraded, and then Optimus Prime eventually destroyed Nemesis Prime. So he had his own personality, whatever, but we never got it. I just would have liked to see that. Unicron, we saw him in the end of season 1, where Optimus pretty much used the Matrix leadership to kill him, and obviously in Predacons Rising, where he possessed Megatron's body, etc., etc. Obviously, Unicron was pretty interesting, and obviously being a bit of a prick at times, but oh well, what can you do? I would have loved to see him, maybe Unicron transform into something, maybe like the planet or the volcano that the Japanese exclusive toy had, but obviously some people say that toy is a piece of shit, and I agree with you, but oh well. Excuse my language, guys. Alright, so that's pretty much the other characters. The Predacons, Skylynx was an interesting character. His colors weren't show accurate to his toy, as I mentioned in his review, though the Takara release hopefully will probably rectify that. Skylynx was interesting, pretty funny. Same with Darksteel. Darksteel obviously being, again, having show accurate colors, but the Takara release will probably rectify that, not the Hasbro version, the US version, Canadian version, whatever, but oh well. Darksteel also was funny and interesting to watch when they were in Predacons Rising, and Predaking. Predaking was very interesting to watch and see, though the only thing I would have liked to see, I would have maybe, since they allied, since the Predacons, Decepticons, Autobots had an alliance to beat, made an alliance to try and beat Unicron, I would have loved to see maybe Predaking apologize to Ultra Magnus for destroying the Fortress Solus Prime and then stepping on his hand and breaking it. I just would have loved to see maybe that, but we never got it, but never know. Alright, so, now onto the Decepticons, the main Decepticons. So we'll start with the Viacons. The Viacons, obviously, they were pretty much the drones for the Decepticons. They had personality. They pretty much essentially had each individual personality. They had different forms. Obviously the Batmobile-styled vehicle, the flying Viacons, the mining Viacons, the tank Viacons that we saw in the video game. All the other Viacons as well. They were interesting, and they were pretty much the guys. They were pretty much the Decepticons that were killed throughout the season, and flashbacks do count as well. The Insecticons, they were interesting. Again, they were pretty. They were pretty much the heavies of the Decepticons, essentially. Though maybe a little backstory on them would have been nice, a little bit in depth. Now the two in particular, Hardshell. Hardshell, again, obviously was the main focus in, one of the main focuses in Season 2 when he severely injured Bulkhead and that caused Miko to kill him. Again, that was interesting. And the fact that he was voiced by David Kaye was awesome. And I actually met David Kaye a few years ago, so if you're watching this video, David Kaye, I'd like to give you a huge shout out for doing such an awesome job. And the other Insecticon being Bombshock, who, again, was never mentioned. He was one of those that was never mentioned by name, but pretty much was essentially one of the Insecticons that was him and the other Decepticons were teleported to one of the moons on Cybertron along with Arachnid, and then they got possessed, etc., etc., etc. So, yeah, there we go. And we're obviously getting a Bomb Shock toy in the form of a Cyberverse Legion class figure. I'll mention that at another time. The other Decepticons, Makeshift. Again, Makeshift was interesting. He was a part of Soundwave, but we never really saw who Makeshift actually was, and I would have loved to see maybe what he actually looked like, but we never got the chance to see him. We only saw him like take physical form such as Wheeljack, but that was it. And it really, yeah, he was an interesting character. Skyquake. Skyquake was again one of those, you know, one or two appearance kind of guys, and I would have loved to see more of a backstory in it, but he only got the 2 episodes that he got, the introductory episode which he got killed in, and of course the one where you got turned into the zombie, into the Terracon zombie, sorry. But again, there you go. That's pretty much the nature of Transformers and stuff. Now onto the main Decepticon cast, then starting with Skyquake's twin Dreadwing. Dreadwing was awesome. In the Blue Angels, blue and gold color scheme, I just loved it. The fact that both Skyquake and Dreadwing scanned Age of Valor's jet was so funny. I just loved it. I knew that was going to happen at some point. The only problem I had with Dreadwing is the fact that obviously he gave the Forward Solus Prime to the Autobots, and then Megatron killed him and stuff. We all knew that. But I would have loved to see the plot line of Megatron finding out from maybe one of the Decepticons or one of the Vehicons stating that Dreadwing took the Forward Solus Prime to the Autobots, maybe with the psychic patch. And then Megatron finds out, he gets pissed off, and then he just beats the ever-loving shit out of one of the Vehicons and just, you know. But there you go. I just would have loved to see that. Breakdown. Breakdown was pretty much one of the guys that got like physically abused a ton in the show. Season 1 he was fine. And then of course he got his eye removed and stuff, or his eye stolen from Mech, and then of course Arachnid in Season 2 killed him, and pretty much from then on he was revived. Well, not revived, but he was Silas. The Mech guys put Silas into Breakdown's body to pretty much use as a body of his own, and he was pretty much there. He was pretty much used as a weapon essentially, and then of course Arachnid managing to permanently end Breakdown and Silas altogether was kind of interesting to watch. Though I would have loved to see maybe Knockout. Maybe have maybe more of a affection towards him, but he didn't really. It was more of an emotionless connection with him. I'll get to Knockout later on. Arachnid was another very interesting character. Her backstory was very interesting, though a little bit more in depth. I would have loved to see. The other thing I wanted to see is the outcome of like did she actually possess all the Insecticons and Bomb Shock in particular, and did they invade? Like that's what I wanted to see maybe, but we never got the chance to kind of see that connection. But other than that, I mean I really felt that that was kind of left out, but. You never know. I mean, that'll probably happen in the not-too-distant future or whatever, but again, it's just kind of one of those things that they kind of left out. It was kind of a plot hole that they left out. I don't know why. Shockwave, it was very interesting to see Shockwave. It was pretty awesome. The only problem with Shockwave, like, what happened after the Terracons ran him over in Terracons Rising. Yes, he survived the brawl, but we don't know what happened after. Did he go back to his lab? Did he kill himself? Did he go to another planet like Megatron did? I don't know. That's what I really wanted to see. But I'll show you in the conclusion, whatever. Knockout was Knockout was pretty, yeah. He was being a bit of a pervert at times throughout the series. His alternate mode was awesome, the Aston Martin V12, whatever, and it was just very awesome. He was interesting, and him joining the Autobots was kind of, yeah, I kind of feeling that happened, but oh well. Soundwave. Soundwave and Laserbeak were kind of the interesting dynamic duo. Um, the only thing I would have liked to see is Megatron actually finding out what happened to Soundwave and Laserbeak being trapped in the Shadow Zone, and maybe Megatron getting pissed off at that, but we never saw that, so there you go. Starscream again, he was one of the proverbial characters, and pretty much obviously the one killing Cliffjumper. I'll get to that later on. Though I would have loved to see RC kill Starscream in Predacons Rising for what Starscream did to Cliffjumper and stuff, but we never saw it. Instead, the Predacons supposedly, allegedly killed Starscream for treating them disrespectfully. Yeah, so that's what I would have liked to see. But overall, Starscream was very interesting. Megatron was he pretty much sat back. He pretty much sat back throughout the whole series, pretty much hiding in the Nemesis, and then Bumblebee killing him, and then Unicron reviving him and rebuilding him into a Galvatron-esque kind of form. Would have been nice in Predacons Rising if he just renamed himself Galvatron and then called himself Megatron again. I would have loved to see in Predacons Rising just Optimus Prime killing Megatron after Optimus killed Unicron with the Allspark. You know what I'm saying? And again, it just would have been nice if that were to happen. But oh well, it's just the storyline. Anyways, now the Autobots. Tailgate. Tailgate was one of the partners RC had, and pretty much Cliffjumper, before Cliffjumper and Arachnid killed. I would have loved to see a backstory in Tailgate. That was really all it is. We only saw him in a flashback, and that was really it. Cliffjumper was pretty much a wasted character from the very beginning of the episode, and pretty much lived up to it when pretty much he got just killed by Starscream in the Viacons in the very first episode. And then, of course, we saw him in a couple flashbacks, and we saw him in a flashback episode of Season 2 with RC, trying to get rid of Shockwave and stuff. I just really would have loved to see maybe Cliffjumper being revived in some way, shape, or form. But it never happened. Anyways, Alpha Trion. Alpha Trion was so awesome to see, like, in Season 2 and in a couple of the episodes in the beginning of Season 3. It was just so awesome to see and watch, and just, it was just so, like, interesting. The only problem, like, when Optimus got rebuilt, we never saw Alpha Trion again. Like, what the hell happened? Did he die? Did he go to another planet? Did he do whatever? I don't know. I would have loved to see more of the backstory on Alpha Trion. Ultra Magnus. Ultra Magnus was one of those characters that was introduced in Season 3. He was awesome. Very awesome. Couple problems. Number one, there weren't really any good shots of him in his vehicle mode, which was exactly like Optimus Prime, except the smokestack, which was confirmed in Predacons Rising in one of the scenes. And it was just, wow. Like, Ultra Magnus was awesome. And only problem, like, when Bumblebee fell into the Omega Lock, I would have loved to see Ultra Magnus probably dip his hand into the Omega Lock so he can get his fully revivable hand back. That's what I would have liked to see. So that's pretty much common sense not being taken into consideration right there by the writers. So anyways, and I also would have loved to see the Forge of Solus Prime revived had they found the Forge of Solus Prime, and done all that. But anyways, Smokescreen was pretty awesome to see. Though there's a couple problems with him. The fact that he changes color schemes, I like that, but we only get the Legends version and not a deluxe repaint. I would have loved to see that, but again, his character was funny and awesome, and maybe, oh well, never know. I just would have loved to seen it. Wheeljack was awesome. He, him formerly being a scientist to now a martial arts expert was awesome, and him being with Bulkhead was terrific. It just was awesome. Wheeljack's character was phenomenal. Bumblebee was awesome. Bumblebee was so awesome. Like, he did a lot of key things throughout the series. He killed Skyquake. He killed Megatron. He killed two guys. two heavyweights that Optimus Prime would have been able to kill within 5 seconds apart. Like, Bumblebee was awesome. The only problem was the fact that, other than him speaking, which was great, we never really got to see, you know, more of his backstory. And the fact that his supposed faceplate, like, he never, like, had that on in, like, he never reactivated it again after you know, after he got his voice back. But it would have been nice to see. But other than that, Bumblebee was just phenomenal. Ratchet was hilarious as usual. Him saying I needed that a couple times throughout the series and in Predacons Rising was phenomenal and awesome. It was just epic. I just loved it. I just loved Ratchet. He was so funny. Bulkhead, he's the heavyweight on the Autobots. He was phenomenal. Again, he was terrific. His relationship with Miko was awesome, as well as Bumblebee's relationship with Raphael and RC. Raph and RC's relationship with Jack was just terrific. It was just terrific. RC, like I mentioned before, I mean, she was just, yes, we understand that she was so emotional when Cliffjumper got killed by Starscream, but I would have loved to seen her kill Starscream, as I mentioned with Starscream. But overall, she was just phenomenal. She was just awesome. And then finally, Optimus Prime, yes. Optimus Prime, yes. Overall, seeing Optimus Prime not only as a semi-truck like it was in G1, and then in Season 3 we see him as a big, like, military-esque kind of all-terrain semi-truck of doom kind of contraption in Season 3 was just phenomenal, and him flying, having a jetpack was terrific. The only problem, obviously, yes, I understand, you know, the whole, I have to kill myself in order to restore my home planet. Yeah. That's been done to death millions of times in Transformers. I would have loved to see maybe Optimus just sacrifice the Matrix of Leadership and the Allspark, and not himself, just by throwing the Matrix and the Allspark into the well of Allsparks to the core of Cybertron, and then just, you know, then we probably see the whole, you know, shower of sparks into the sky except Optimus, and then Optimus Prime just, you know, just has, you know, gets the Matrix recalibrated in the vector of Sigma. That's what would have loved to see. A much better fate for Optimus Prime rather than him just committing suicide and then just having Ultra Magnus, you know, lead the whole, you know, shabam or whatever. Anyways, so those are the characters. Overall, my opinion on the series, phenomenal. Spotless. Very flawless. Very awesome. It is totally, highly recommended that you go and check out this series. It was awesome for its time, and it was just so phenomenal. So, guys, I will be, just give me 1 second, guys, and I'm going to bring in all the characters that have survived, and we're just going to pretty much conclude this video. So just give me 1 moment, and I will be back as soon as possible. Hey guys, so I'm back. Obviously, these are all the characters pretty much that survived from pretty much their debuts up until the end of the series, of course, Predacons Rising. So, obviously, in the back we have Predaking, Skylynx. Just gonna not move him, but Wheeljack is in behind there. Shockwave, I just counted Shockwave since he technically lived, not, you know, died or anything, but oh well. Got Smokescreen, got Bulkhead, Knockout, who's an Autobot now, Ratchet, Bumblebee, RC, and Ultra Magnus, who either Ultra Magnus, Smokescreen, or Bumblebee are probably going to lead the Autobots now that Optimus is dead, and the fact that they'll probably rotate through the leadership. I don't know, but pretty much, if I just move the camera here, these are pretty much all the characters that have survived throughout the series, throughout their, you know, the time, and overall, I'm just phenomenal. So guys, I would highly recommend you go check out the series. It's phenomenal, and you will not be disappointed. Other than my problems, it's very well done. So anyways, guys, that is my review recap of the Transformers Prime continuity. I will see you all very soon. I will be back as soon as possible in the next video, and yeah, so take care, see you soon. Have a great day, and as always, guys, I'll catch you all later. Bye-bye!